Greetings everyone and welcome back. Drothgen here, or rather I should say good evening, because it's like 3 AM when I'm recording this. Anyways, tonight's subject, Path of Exile. Okay, here's the thing. I don't really know why I never checked this game before, because I was really interested with this game, especially when it was in early beta. But there was always something else that just basically took my time. I think I finally decided to install the game because simply Steam was popping their ads like Path of Exile, available now, every time I logged in, and just like, install now, free to play, and I was like, really? Free to play? So it's gonna probably have a microtransaction in it, and it's gonna suck because every game like free to play is turning into pay to win. So I was kind of against it, but anyways I decided to check it anyway, and you know what, the microtransaction thing, it is in the game. Fortunately, at least as far as I know and as much as I found, it's only a cosmetic thingy. So it's like you can buy some pet or you can buy some new look for your weapon. It's purely cosmetic, and I hope I'm not wrong, but anyways, I'm gonna talk about this later on. For now, let's just focus at the very beginning of the game, which is basically a character screen. Because from the very first moment when I launched the game, there was no intro, no anything like that, no any fancy intros, just stuff like login and get into the game. But still, from the very first moment, when the game said choose your character, choose your name for your character and choose your character, from this very moment I was like, oh shit, it's Diablo. It's like Diablo, and it was more, at least for me, it was more like the Diablo, the first Diablo, and not the second. It was similar to the second, but for some reason it was close to me. Maybe it's simply because of the art design, or maybe because the game itself is so freaking dark. It's so dark. I mean, seriously, when you compare, I don't want to make any kind of I don't really want to talk here about other games, but I'm gonna do this one time. If you will compare the design of this game, I mean, not really the graphics, but how the game looks like. If you will go into your first dungeon, your first dungeon, and you will see how the caves are looking, how the shadows are moving, especially the shadows. Man, the shadows are so freaking good. It reminds me about the Dungeon Keeper, because the shadows in Dungeon Keeper were good at its time. So it was so really close with their art design to the Diablo, the first Diablo. Later on a bit, Diablo Hellfire was also pretty good with the shadow thingy, especially when you was casting a kind of a fireball, and the fireball was just like flying slowly, and you could see the light just following it. It was beautiful. The shadows here are really well done, and the whole game, when you compare this to Diablo 3, then it makes a Diablo 3 looks like a Disney title. Seriously, it's like a cartoony thingy. Not that the Diablo 3 is bad or something. I played so much of Diablo 3, you have no idea. But it's so fresh. It's so refreshing, because you've got a really dark feeling when you are playing Path of Exile, and it's so good, you have no idea. I was so freaking happy. Also, there is another thing that I want to mention here. At the very first beginning, when you are choosing your character, the game introduces you to your new character. But the thing is, it's so good, you basically care for the character you will be playing with. And the game does that simply by making you listening to their story. They've got every single character got like a short speech before you choose them. The thing is, I mean, my point is, when a hack and slash game, we are talking here about hack and slash game. When a hack and slash game can connect you to your new character much better than any other AAA RPG titles can, then it's a pretty big plus, at least in my book, because they made it really, really well. I mean, seriously, just listen to the speech of the Templar.
Attention, prisoners! For your crimes against Ariath, you have been exiled to the forsaken continent of Rayclast. The Majesties of Ariath are merciful and have granted all exiles one weapon. Choose wisely. Ariath has bestowed a gift upon you, a chance to redeem your crimes, a new life. Do not squander it.
I fought, wept, and bled for God and the Order. I would have died for my Templar brothers, every single one. And how do they reward my piety, my devotion? They exile me to the land of the damned, to Rayclast. I know now that my brethren are merely God's tools. He has given me this path to walk, so I shall muster my strength and my power, and my faith. It is my shield against the darkness to come.
See? And that's what I'm talking about. And of course, as always, basically from the very first Diablo, my character was always a warrior, or barbarian, or even when there was like a Diablo Hellfire, there was some kind of a basically modification that you can play as a barbarian with two swords, so it was kind of like a barbarian from Diablo 2, except you had like animation with one sword. But the statistics were, of course, had a bigger damage. The thing is, I always was choosing a warrior type character, and of course here there's no difference. My main character is a marauder, and it's kind of also nice they didn't name him like barbarian or a warrior. They named him marauder. The last time I was playing a marauder was in what was that game? Warhammer Online, I think. So yeah, it's kind of nice and it's refreshing also. So yeah, in the end of the day, I decided that the Marauder will be my main because the traditions and stuff. The secondary will be the Witch because at some point I had basically so much of items like plus something to spell damage, plus something to intelligence, and I didn't want to vendor these items, so I basically create another character. And it's also nice because you can make your witch into many different ways. In my case, it's basically a pure necromancer. But it's nice that you can choose so many different paths, but I'm gonna talk about this later on. But still, for some reason, I had all the time the Templar speech in my mind. Maybe because it was the first speech I listened in this game, maybe because it was so good. Basically, I decided to roll Templar in the end also. And it was also a good choice because there's a lot of items here that are connecting strength and intelligence, like even weaponry, even shields. So all this stuff was going to the Templar because I knew that he will use it at the full potential signs. A Templar is basically like a hybrid between Barbarian and I'm sorry, not Barbarian, between Marauder and the Witch, which means he is connecting strength and intelligence items. But still, it depends how you will build your Templar. You can make him full focus on into the physical damage, for instance, or you can make him focused into full elemental damage, Or you can make a Dark Templar if you want. He will be summoning zombies. And that's probably the most beautiful thing with this game. You can basically choose so many different ways for your character. You can level him up with so many different ways. It means it doesn't matter if you start with Templar or a Witch or a Marauder. It only matters what kind of character you want him to be. Of course, there are some, let's just say, issues, because you can create like a character that I mentioned, a Dark Templar, where he will be summoning zombies or using kind of a dark magic or some stuff like that. But he will not be as much efficient as, let's just say, a Witch, because she will get more, let's just say, summoner-friendly nodes from early on, where with Templar you will need to go kind of you need to basically have much more levels before your character will turn into this kind of character you want him to be. It's really kind of hard to describe this. Basically, you need to look at the skill tree, because the skill tree is, from my point of view, the first time I saw a skill tree, the skill where you're basically choosing what kind of a node you need to choose every single level, I had like an instant jaw drop. It was like, fuck, this is good. It was great, seriously. This is how basically I imagined Diablo 3 to be one day. Even though I like Diablo 3 as it is like it is, I still have a lot of fun playing it, but this kind of leveling thingy with Path of Exile is great. The freedom, the simple freedom you can choose, so many different builds you can create with this. It's fucking creative. The whole skill tree is just screaming like, look at me, I'm complex, but I'm not complicated. And it's good, it's really good. It's like Diablo 1 make a child with Diablo 2, then the child just evolved a bit, like in StarCraft, you know, in kind of a chrysalis, and you've got this, and it's great. The whole idea of getting this much freedom for leveling your character is simply brilliant, and it's not only that you need to use your brain a bit while playing a hack and slash game, which is already a good sign, but also it gives you a different feelings for many different builds, for many different specific builds. What I mean is there are some builds that they are basically rock on from level 5 and you are just killing everything with a few blows. But there are some builds that they are getting their full potential, let's just say at the level 44. That's just like one example. There are some builds that are getting their full potential at the level 60 plus. So you see, there's a lot of choices. It also means that you need to suffer. Depends of what kind of different builds you will choose. But there are also some builds that you need to suffer from the very beginning. Let's just say to some point. Let me give you an example. There's like a one build for a Marauder that it makes you very powerful from very early on. Then later on you are getting a bit weaker, and in the end you are getting a godlike. The same example for a Templar and a Witch. For a Witch, for a Necromancer build. I'm just naming it. A Necromancer is basically a summoner, but it's based around summoning zombies and skeletons and stuff like that, and later on specters. And there's kind of a specific build if you will follow this kind of a grave pact nodes. the character is getting their full strength around the level 66 or something, where the specters will be doing the most of damage from you, all of your minions, and zombie and skeletons will be only tanking. So yeah, that's let's just say that's like a price that you need to pay for a very powerful character later on. Or for an instant you would like to have like a face roll character from very early on, but later on he will be a bit weaker than let's just say the godlike characters that were suffering from the beginning, and they are powerful at the level 50 or 60 or something like that. So this is also something that I really like with this game. There are some items, of course, that that allows you to reset few specific nodes if you will make like a mistake or two in your builds. And I think when they are patching the game, when they are making some changes with the nodes, then basically you are getting like a free restart for your entire tree. But the point is, you don't want to make mistakes, because the items that allows you to reset your nodes, they cost a lot, and there's no really a currency in this game. There's no like a gold, and it's also beautiful because for some reason it reminds me about trading in Fallout. I mean, in Fallout 2 or the Fallout 1, and basically in Fallout, when you don't really trade with the currency, you trade with items for items. There is of course a trade chart in this game, and but the thing is, it's not really that efficient because there's so much spam there. So people mostly keep posting stuff on Path of Exile forum in the trade section, rather than just sitting on the trade chart in the game. And I can completely understand them, because the first thing I did when I get to the game was just turn off the trade chat, because there was so much freaking spam there. But I think it just depends on the hour. The global chat is also nice, but depends also at the time of the hour and the day, because one time you've got nice chatting, and the second time just people swearing and cursing at each other, and you know, the nasty stuff. So at some point I had to turn off the global chat too. I don't really want to focus on the trade thingy too much, but from the stuff I was reading on the forum, on the Path of Exile forum, there are people that they basically want a trade to be more accessible, more easier to do than, let's just say, communicating with other players via forum or via spam on the trade chat. And I can completely understand them, but there are also people who don't like this idea. Even I think it was announced by the people who made the game that on the next or maybe future updates they want to do something with the trade, that they want to turn trade into being like, let's just say, more accessible, more easier. But like I just said, there are people who don't really like this idea too, because they think that it's gonna turn into Diablo 3 trade thingy, when you will get like high-end gear very quickly, and you will get bored with the game and quit. I don't know, both ideas are kind of okay, but not really to the end. But I don't really want to go with this. From my perspective, I see the fun with this game not really with the kind of farming items just to get the best items, and you know, this is the part where you've got the best item and you are getting bored with the game. From my point of view, it's okay, let's just say like this. You've got 18 slots for your characters, if I'm not mistaken. You can create multiple characters of the same class, let's just say a Marauder for an instant. And every single Marauder will be a different one. Depends what kind of nodes you will choose for him when you will be leveling. What I want to say is, one model will be purely focused, let's just say, with melee. The second will be focused on fire damage. The third one will be focused on lightning damage with support of fire damage, and so on and so on. The next one will be, let's just say, a tank zerker, where he will be tanking like a boss, while farting fireballs and lightning bolts from his ass. And I'm not joking, that's possible. But anyways, the end game, at least for me, it's not that much about farming the gear, but it's most about creating multiple characters and testing crazy ass builds just to see which one will be giving me the most fun, and probably then I will stick with this character. I don't know, we'll see. I guess I should say something about leveling, since it is probably one of my favorite parts in this game, right next to smash a monster with a mighty weapon in the face. There are two ways of leveling, basically, and this is something I really liked from the very beginning also. The first way is just standard leveling your character when you are applying your kind of a skill tree, then you are choosing a node, then you are getting next level and you are choosing the next node. And the second way of leveling is, well, it's about leveling your stones, you know, the gems, the things that you put in the weapon and the armor. And for some reason, I don't know why, but it looks like the game, the creators of the game, like to play a Final Fantasy VII quite a lot, at least from my point of view, because the way you are leveling materia in Final Fantasy VII, it's also the same way you are leveling gems in this game. It's beautiful, and it's not only that the gems are getting stronger, and by the way, you can take the same gem that, let's just say you leveled a gem and it is at the level 3 and it is in your weaponry. You can pull this gem off from your weapon, like the same stuff as in Final Fantasy VII, at any time you want, and you can put it back. And you can move it to the next weapon, and that's just fucking brilliant. I was so impressed with this design. I'm still happy with this. And so the best part, you've got like a one weapon, then on the, let's just say 6 levels later, you are getting a new weaponry. Then you take your level 4 gem that adds like some fire damage or some kick-ass damage to your melee abilities, or maybe something to armor, because I'm talking about weaponry, but the gem can be in armor also. So yeah, you can take this gem back. You are putting the gem into your next weapon or armor, and you keep leveling this gem. It's great. It's amazing. Yeah. Did I mention that you can put this? You can take this gem and you can give it to other characters. Yeah. Fucking great. The NPC characters I met so far, and I am basically at the beginning of the Act 2 at the moment, they are quite nice. I mean, the voice acting for them is quite solid, and I know that this is just only like a hack and slash game, but for some reason I really care for them. I mean, I want to learn and I want to know more about these characters. I mean, what they are doing here, why they are here, what happened to them before, and so on and so on.
Frankly, I would have been surprised if you hadn't recognized me. Yes, 'tis I, Captain Sigmund Fairgraves, wave tamer, pirate bane, and conveyor of civilization to barbaric lands. So, what am I doing here? Apart from blowing my own bugle? I'm marooned, languishing, thanks to a pair of pretty blue eyes. Stuck fast in the filthy mud of Rayclast, thanks to one sultry little slave girl. I liberated her from the flesh pits of Trathus, and she repaid me in full with sleight of hand and swift feet. Turned the coat of my first mate, took my hard-earned all-flame, and with it the wind out of me sails. Find my all flame, I beg of you. Till I feel its warmth again, I'm trapped here, high and dry, until the sun's final setting. I hunted the vagaries of a near-forgotten myth to a shattered cathedral in the Inner Empire. I took the all-flame and encased it within a lantern of pure silver, the only element it seemed incapable of consuming. Oh, the all-flame does many a marvelous thing in the hands of one who knows how to harness its power. Oh, banish any thoughts of using it for yourself. It would burn you alive. My loveliest neighbor in this most salubrious of neighborhoods. Facing Mervale and finding my all-flame are two mutually exclusive endeavors. I'd much prefer you to live to see your errand fulfilled, although it is possible that my wayward slave girl fell prey to one of Mervale's slithering progeny. If that be the case, you look resourceful enough to handle a tentacled wench or two. But if Mervale herself has my flame, be very wary. That necklace of hers provides the old siren with some subtle wiles indeed. If the history books are to be believed, Doreso the Daring presented the necklace to Mervale on bended knee, and from the moment he placed that little chunk of rayclast at her throat, Mervale began to sing. It's told her sweet voice grew to fill even the largest concert halls of Oriath, and brought warmth to even the coldest of hearts. But then she began to change. Her mind and body twisted, as did her songs. Well, the sweetness remained, while the sanity fled. Knowing what little I do about the powers that lie dormant here in Rayclast, I'd surmise that if you have Mervale's necklace, you have the siren's voice.
Now I need to go back a bit and talk again about the magical gems, because I almost forgot about the most important part of it. And it is another thing that I really like to see in this game, and I like how they basically made two different types of gems. The first type of the gem is basically a magical gem that will count as a skill. So it means when you are leveling your gem, you are basically leveling your skill. And the second type of the gems, as far as I found, are basically a boosts to your skill. And it's not always like a boost, but it's still the same stuff like in Final Fantasy VII. So you got a skill that will, let's just say it's a cleave or it's a sweep skill that will hit multiple enemies around you. So let's just say there are 6 enemies around you and use your sweep ability to hit all of them. Then the second type of the gems, let's just say the game is every time you hit something, you will get a 6 health. And this game will count only if it's connected with a specific skill. So if we've got a weapon that is able to hold 2 gems and the slots in the weapons are the same color as gems, and if we will connect our sweep ability with the life on hit ability, so the next time you use sweep, you're getting all the stuff from the sweep plus the life on hit. So it's like a simple thing, but it's a bit more complicated than that it sounds. The first thing is the weapon needs to have requirements for be able to connect the gems. There are some upgrades that you can use on your weapon that will allow you to connect to different slots, or even to change a color of a slot, because every single game can be different color. So one game will require a green color, the other support game will require, let's just say, a red color. And it's all mostly about using proper upgrades for your weapon, just to be able to use specific gems. The best part in all of this is you don't really need a weapon or shield to be able to use an offensive skill abilities. I mean, you don't really need to put the offensive skill ability in your weapon slot. You can put this in your armor slot or helmet or boots or gloves, and it still be working as an offensive ability. And the same stuff will follow with the defensive abilities or the supportive one. It's really nice. Now I think I should talk a bit about weaponry and the armor stuff, since getting up your character is almost as much important as leveling and smashing monsters with a mighty weapon in the face. And I don't really mean the basic stuff like the strange characters will be getting the most bonuses from axes and hammers. The dexterity characters will be getting most bonuses from weaponry like short swords, daggers, and kind of any normal swords. Like let's just say a hybrid characters between strength and dexterity. Dexterity will be getting nice bonuses from two-handed swords, for instance. I like how there's so much freedom here that you can basically choose whatever weapon you want and whatever kind of an armor you want. It just depends on your build. And probably the best part also for me is that the armor is looking exactly the same, let's just say on your Marauder, as it will be looking exactly the same on your, let's just say a witch. Let's just assume that the armor is just like a heavy plate armor. It still be looking the same. So I like how there is still that much of customization here, and that the same armor will not change magically its own appearance if it will be equipped on another character, like in other games. So it's also nice to see here. And another part that I was quite impressed with, I like how they made so many different subparts for the armors. What I mean by introducing the magical shield and the evasion thing, they made basically they gave different statistics for different kind of an armor. So what I mean is still the heavy armor like the plate armor or something like that will stay without any additional bonuses. If it will give you basically a crazy amount of armor, without of course any additional bonuses from the magical abilities or any kind of statistics or or gems or anything like that. Just like standard normal armor. Let's just say another armor like a chainmail armor that is mostly made with thinking about Templar, and this armor will give you a bit lesser amount of the armor value, but it will add you a small amount of the magical shield value, and the magical shield is also something really nice, because it needs to go down between before your character will take a damage into health directly. So it's kind of nice that you can make so many also different builds. Like you can make a Marauder with an abilities, something like let's just say elemental damage, like a Templar, but you don't want to use heavy armor. You want to give him the armor that will add so much to the shield that at some point your shield regeneration will be so crazy that you will barely take any health damage. And it's so great to see so much variety here in this game. And of course the same thing will follow for different parts of armor or shield, that is combining an armor and evasion value, or evasion and energy shield. So it's really nice to see. It just depends what kind of a build you want to use and what kind of character you want to have, and you basically choose the gears. Like the gear is just waiting for you. It's like they made this kind of different armors for any different kind of crazy ass hybrid builds, because people are quite creative. They can make some crazy ass hybrid builds that, let's just say, developers will never thought about them. So it's nice to see that the armor is just like armor and weapon is just only waiting for a person to create a specific build. I haven't really played in a groups yet. I know it's my course, but first of all, I was trying to make this video. The second thing is, whenever I am playing with others, the people tend just to rush through any kind of area. I know that they are just simply farming or just XPing, and they are trying just to go from one part of a dungeon to another part of a dungeon and to kill as many monsters as they can in let's just say, a short amount of time. But the way I'm playing is just, I want, at least at the first time, I wanted to explore every single corner of a freaking caves, or every single corner of any open area. I simply wanted to just explore, to go slowly through the game, to touch almost everything, kill every single minion, open every single box. It's something that I mostly do in any kind of a hack and slash game. This is how I basically play. At some point I'm ending in groups, playing with groups, but until then I was going alone. Before I will forget, I need to go and mention about the microtransaction part. As I said before, the microtransaction, at least at the time I'm making this video, is only and purely cosmetic. There are packs that you buy for points and points you buy for money through Steam. You can purchase things like premium stash tab that adds you an extra slots into your stash, or extra character slots if you are going to make more characters that you already got. I believe this thing is mostly for, let's just say, for collectors, people who got so many items or so many characters that they need more space. And it's okay, it's nice that it's here. I mean, I'm mostly against any kind of a microtransaction in games. Especially microtransaction that makes your character more powerful than other characters in the game, I mean than other players. Any kind of transaction like this is a big no for me, and I'm trying to avoid any games like this. But in this case we've got purely cosmetic things, so all these things like, or let's just say, new pets, simply pets that will follow you around. Maybe some people like to have, I don't know, like a kitten going behind their marauder while he is just splashing demons left and right. I don't know, maybe some people do like that. It's okay that it's here, I've got nothing against it. The other cosmetic things are basically a modification for your spells or abilities, but it's also purely cosmetic. It's only how the things are basically looking at your screen. So it's like, some things are for skin transfer, but basically you want your next weapon that got some crazy ass statistics, but you want to look just like your previous weapon, so we basically swap skins only. The other things like, let's just say, an infernal weapon effect. I already seen some people running with this. It's just basically their weapon is like all the times in flames. It's looking kind of a cool even. Or things like gore arctic or vampiric or lightning footprints, so wherever your character follows, you are leaving this kind of a footprints, depends on what kind of a pack you've bought. So I guess it's just for visual things also. I don't think it got anything to do with the game mechanic at all. Some people like to do this, some people like to have such things like this. From my perspective, I think for me, the most interesting skill, not really skill, but the graphical effect is for my witch. It will probably be when you don't summon zombies, because she's made like full necromancer. You don't really summon zombies, you summon mummies. Well, they still got the same statistics like zombies, everything is exactly the same, except the visual effect. It's not a zombie and it's a mummy. And it's probably nice because, the zombies are kind of getting overrated at this time. There's so many games and movies and all stuff, like zombies are fucking everywhere. I hate zombies already. So it's kind of nice that it's not a zombie, it's a mummy, and maybe I even think about buying at least this pack. And the other things is, I think it's for skeleton, and you don't summon skeletons, you summon as statues. But in this part I'm just gonna leave skeletons because skeletons are fucking awesome. They're like necromancer from Diablo 2, so yeah. So consider this game is basically free to play and people need to eat, right? So it's kind of a nice that it's really even very nice that the developers they did not make any microtransaction things to be able like pay to win. They made basically purely cosmetic, and it's really nice. And if I will ever think about buying one of these, I will probably buy at least few of these, but because I really like some of these effects that I already seen. But what really impresses me, what I'm really impressed is with that all of these things is just purely cosmetic, that they didn't even touch the game with any changes just to make people pay for better equipment, just to make people pay for, I don't know, bonus to getting experience, like, you know, like a freaking World of Tanks, when you need to pay for a fucking additional bonus to your experience when you need to, you know, so you don't have to grind that fucking much. Man, I hate this. But whatever. As far as this stands in this game, as far as microtransaction is in this game, is fine. I'm okay with it, and I'm really glad that the developers they did this as it is now, and I hope that they will never change this into pay to win. Man, there is so much stuff here that I would like to talk about, but if I will be talking about everything, this will probably turn into something as long as Lords of the Ring director could. So yeah. I know that I barely touched the game. Probably at the time I will be editing this video, I will be somewhere in the middle of the Act 2 with my characters. But so far everything I found is great. And with everything so far I have fun. The only problem sometimes is a lag. It's not a big deal, it happens only from time to time. There was a part when I almost died because of the lag, but it was only like one time. And I don't know, maybe it's just the servers, or maybe it's my connection or something. I know, I checked the forum and it seems that other people are affected by this too. So I think it just depends on what kind of a time you are logged in. But every time I logged in and I see that there is a lag, I just swap to my Templar, because he can block with his shield more often than my Marauder with his face. At the end I would like to talk about one more important thing that it makes me happy every single time I logged in, is how they basically made potions in this game. Like, you've got vials, and every time you kill a monster, or every time you kill something, your vial will fill up a bit. So let's just say you've got like a vial of health and you drink a potion. You drink some part of the health potion. You don't drink all the health potion at the time. It's just you drink only like some parts of its own charges. And at the same time you're getting your health slowly back, and at the same time you're killing demons or you're killing monsters, and because of your killing the other things, the vials will fill up, and the same thing will follow for vials with mana. And there's also additional vials, like let's just say some will give you a bonus to your movement speed, some will give you a bonus to your resists. Every single vial can be also magical. Those are basically bottles only. You know, you can buy them from the merchant, or you can find them from the drop, and they can be magical. So it's not that like the whole potion of health is magical. It's not the thing that it's inside. It's just like the vial is magical, and the vial is making your blood to be a magical or something like that, or mana. You know what I mean. So in the end of the day, you don't really spam your potion that much. You drink them slowly, which is kind of nice to see. I thought first time because there are potions that they're gonna be something like a spam of drinking potions. It's something that I don't really like in First Diablo. I don't really like this spamming and drinking potion that much. Although at some point you don't really have to drink anything at all, or only drink from time to time. But it's nice to see that they came with such a nice idea. You don't have your inventory fucked all over because you've got like half of your inventory is filled with vials with mana or health potion. It's basically like you are killing and like they want to stay you to stay in the fight, but at the same time to be kind of reasonable what you will drink, when you will drink, and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting when you are fighting with the boss, because when boss is spawning adds that you can kill, this is nice for your vial to fill up. But when boss is just like a boss and there's no any other creatures and it's hard to kill, then you need to be smart. You cannot really spam your potions then. It's really nice and it's really interesting to see this in this game. I was so happy with this. But anyway, I will be ending the video here, and at the time I'm releasing this video, at the time I'm making this video, the Path of Exile is a free-to-play game. If you are a Steam user, just type Path of Exile in the search box and freaking install this game. If you loved hack and slash game, if you loved Diablo, this is the game for you. Just trust me. If you love the first Diablo and the second Diablo, this is the game for you.
A woman corrupted beyond humanity. I must cure this plague before it sickens all of God's creation.